Hey, we are going to be going over your 13 Colonies unit test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions and the answer choices out loud for you. So I want y'all to take your time and do your very best. All right, so first of all, what you have to do is just put your first and your last name, just like you would on your regular sheet of paper. And then the first is corn, beans, and squash were three main crops grown in the New England colonies. Is that true or false? The next one. The American Indians and colonists were always the best of friends. Is that true or false? All right, the next one. Disease, harsh weather, and little food made life very difficult for colonists as they made the transition from Europe to the New World. Is that true or false? Next question. The Mid-Atlantic colonies were known to be the breadbasket colonies because their most prominent crops, wheat, barley, rye, and flax, were grains that were made into bread. Is that true or false? All right, the next question. Soil in the Mid-Atlantic region was not fit for farming. Is that true or false? All right, next question. Both indentured servants and slaves were paid for the work they did on the farm. Is that true or false? Okay, the next question is going to be multiple choice. The question is, which group of people came from England and helped develop the Mid-Atlantic colonies? Was it the Puritans, the Indians, the Christians, or the Quakers? Which group of people came from England and helped develop the Mid-Atlantic colonies? The next question. All of the following were typical features of agriculture in the southern colonies except slave labor, rich soil, long growing seasons, or crops of wheat, oats, and rye. The next question. People who agreed to work for a number of years in exchange for the cost of the voyage to North America were landowners, artisans, slaves, or indentured servants. Next question. Why was it difficult to grow crops in the New England region? It was very cold in the New England region? The winters were long? The soil was poor? Or all of the above? Next question. Why did the Europeans want to leave their native country? Is it they were curious what life would be like in a different land? They were in search of religious freedom? They wanted to move closer to family members living in the New World. They were adventurous people who needed a new thrill. Why did Europeans want to leave their native country? All right, the next question. How was the South different from other colonies? Was it the climate was warm and humid and they had fertile soil which allowed for year-round farming? They had large amounts of land to use for agriculture. Along with warm weather, the South had more daylight than other colonies, which allowed farmers to more time to harvest cash crops for trade. Or was it both A and B are correct? Or was all of the above correct? Okay. Next question. Whales were an important natural resource for the people of the New England colonies because the Puritans wanted to mount them on their walls as trophies. They needed the whales for food. They used their blubber to make oil lamps. Or none of the above. Whales were an important natural resource for the people of the New England colonies because all right, next question is, why was corn such an important crop grown in the New England colonies? Was it because it was easy to grow? Corn was a Puritan's favorite food. Corn was a natural resource that was used in many different ways. Corn was an easy and inexpensive side dish for many meals. All right, the next question. Market towns in the mid-Atlantic region were built near a source of water because the people wanted to go for a swim every day after work. The Quakers loved to fish on their lunch break. This made it easy to transport their goods to other colonies. Or they needed water for drinking and bathing each day. All right, the next question. A blank was a huge farm with up to 1,000 acres of land. Because of its size, many workers were needed to keep it running. For example, planters, indentured servants, slaves, etc. All right, so was this huge farm called a smokehouse, plantations, mansion, or valley? Blank were people who had no personal or economic freedoms. These people were owned by their masters and were often mistreated. All right, were these people American Indians, slaves, farmers, artisans? Next question. Lumber was an important natural resource for the New England colonies. Okay, so for this question, you think you're supposed to choose which one was a reason, or which one of these were a reason that lumber was an important natural resource for the New England colonies. All right, was lumber an important resource because the animals needed homes? They used the lumber to build homes to live in and boats for trading with other colonies. They needed lumber to have fire in the winter, or none of the above. All right, so your next question is you're going to have to fill in your answers. You have to type out your answer. The question is, name the 4 colonies that make up the New England region. So you have to type in which 4 colonies make up the New England region. For the next question, you have to write and type in, name the 4 colonies that make up the Mid-Atlantic region. The next question is, name the 5 colonies that make up the Southern region. So for that one, you're going to type in the name of the 5 colonies that make up the Southern region. All right. For this next question, I'm going to read it out loud, and you have to write, if you lived in England and you were interested in coming to America, which colonial region would you choose and why? Be sure to write your answer in complete sentences. Be descriptive, giving at least 3 reasons you would want to live in blank region. So to answer this question, I want you to first of all think, what region would you want to live in? Now what you need to do is you need to restate an answer and give 3 reasons why you would want to live in this region and explain why. Okay? And then this last box at the bottom of this assignment gives you a rubric of what the teacher is looking for. How you can get 0 points, 1 point, 2 point, or 3 points. Okay? All right, guys. Y'all are going to do awesome on this test. Do your absolute best. Y'all are going to do great.